Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Pattern Shift on Dr. T TV. I'm Dr. T, and this is the place where we shift reactions into intentions so we can all live our most elevated life. Today's pattern shift is really continuing on with this very important upgrade that we all need because we're replacing shooting with rooting, right? Replacing shooting and every form of it with rooting for each other, right? Rooting for each other to win and be fabulous. So, we're all aware that we've had another mass shooting, and it was really close to home here in the Bay Area. And it was just one of those moments of a feeling of going like, this is really sad that this isn't surprising, but also knowing that we've been through a lot over the last year and the last 4 years, and just a whole lot of emotion going on from the top down, and a whole lot of difficulty, and a whole lot of taking sides and judging and shooting and shootings of all kinds, and lots of even shooting the messenger. And so I just want to just acknowledge that we've got to replace this pattern of shooting in all of its forms. And we've got to be incredibly intentional, because whatever is there in our atmosphere will make more of itself. That's physics. So wherever there is anything, there will be more of that. So we need to be very intentional. And so wherever they're shooting in any form, we can see where it's going and what it's doing and what is happening and what it's creating and all of its unintended outcomes and consequences. And shooting can come in any form. It can be the shooting of the messenger. It can be shooting someone a negative look. It can be saying things like, oh my God, I just want to shoot somebody. It's a really negative pattern that is really, really dangerous. And, thinking as an emotional scientist and somebody that does emotional training and helps people shift their reactions into their intentions, as somebody who shares the important truth with people of what I'm seeing in their emotional patterns and then having them replace it with intentional ones, I'm often telling people things that are hard to hear and hard to take in. And, don't shoot the messenger. It's kind of one of those things like, who wants to be the villain in the story? Nobody does. And neither do I, as I'm sharing this with you, to say that anywhere that we have shooting, we've really got to get ourselves together, and we've got to replace it with something that's really easy for everybody to have their whole psyche take this in and shift them on a conscious and subconscious level. Only training ourselves and gaining strength. We're gaining emotional strength for our intentions instead of our reactions. Because shooting is not a solution. It's not a strategy. It's not anything to take lightly. But rooting for ourselves, rooting for other people, rooting for all of us and our whole society to be its most elevated, that's something that we can replace that with. And now over the top of shooting is rooting and all of its awesome forms, right? So we want to take that in, because rooting includes everything. Like, it's like rooting and stable and grounded and solid and rooted in a way that is just strong and capable. And rooting is rooting and cheering people on and finding what they're doing right and high-fiving and going, great job. My whole new lens is seeing what you're doing well and seeing what's happening that is good, right? Because even life becomes the villain, and it's like we make life this terrible thing rather than rooting and cheering people on every day with what we do on the internet, interacting with people, you know, our partners, our family members, our friends, our coworkers. There's so much of our emotional conditioning that is finding everything wrong, which is like this thing of like judgment and just anger and violence and wrong, and it's really creating something that we need to replace with rooting, and just absolutely finding people doing things well, giving them encouragement, acknowledgement, appreciation, celebrating, rooting. You got this. I know you can do it. Oh, you're having a difficult moment. You know what? I believe in you. I believe you can feel better. What do you want to feel instead? And really rooting people on to feel the way they want to feel, be who they want to be, and do what they want to do. We need a cheering section, everyone. And we are all each other's cheering section. And we're either jeering and judging and just shooting people down in all of this judgment, or what we can do is this amazing rooting and cheering and rallying and supporting, because we're all in it together. We are literally all each other's cheering section, and we all really need it. So I'm encouraging everybody to make this shift. Wherever there would have been shooting for the rest of our lives, we put rooting for everyone to be well. We put rooting and cheering and great job. And what are the 3 things that I did well today? And what are the 3 things that you accomplished today? And cheering and rooting and high-fiving and celebrating, which is one of our most important pieces of emotional training that we do at our Emotional Strength Training Center at drtracyinc.com, where you can learn all of these pattern shifts that are shifting your psyche through emotional training. So now rooting is like awesome, and we're being rooted on and cheered on and celebrated. And it's a massive cheering section that we are all doing in the world, whether we realize it or not. And let's make this a huge upgrade where we're rooting and cheering and making that the entire equation. Because imagine a society where everybody is rooting for each other. That's a whole different thing. And that makes it so that this other stuff that we don't want, it gets, here it is, snuffed out by this awesome, elevated, positive emotion where everybody can live in this elevated way. Because every bit that we cheer ourselves on, each other on, we add that, it creates an amazing emotional strength effect, which I want you all to have. And if you haven't seen my TED Talk, Google the emotional strength effect and watch it. It's life-changing. So let's create this emotional strength effect, this emotional butterfly effect of rooting each other on, and make these shifts and upgrades that we are being asked to do to change what it is that is going on in our emotional environment and make it the most elevated one. Thanks for receiving this invitation, everyone. Thanks for taking this and 100% passing it on. Send the rooting forward. Let's have some viral rooting each other on and make this pattern shift a viral one. Thanks for doing that. Thanks for taking this pattern shift today, knowing it's monumentally life altering for everyone in such a good way. And know that this one pattern shift is just for today. And I look forward to sharing with you more on the next one. Thanks for tuning in. Take care.